At this time of year, it's not an observant house in which the pitter-patter feet of the approaching Yom Tov of Pesach cannot already be felt. Whether it's the cleaning or the shopping, the endless shopping, the scrubbing, the planning, the readying, the repositioning of different things within the household itself, all preparing ourselves for the wonderful Yom Tov of Pesach, Zeman Cheirutenu, celebrating the unshackling of Klal Yisrael from the bondage of Egypt, permitting us to live lives of freedom, where we can think and move and act in accordance with a Bechira Chashis, a freedom of choice that we were blessed with by Hashem Yisparach to ultimately be part and parcel of His Am HaNivchar, of the chosen nation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And indeed, it is this holiday of Yetzias Mitzrayim that sets the tone for anything and everything that follows through the course of the year, for every Kiddush that is recited, whether it's on Friday night of Leil Shabbosos or on Leil Yom Tovim, we always have Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. But if we look at the Seder this week, as we begin the Sefer VaYikra, I believe that there is another notion of celebration of Unshackled, and it's found regarding the offering of a Korban Olah when a person brings an Adava, a free-willed sacrifice. And the Pasuk tells us when a person does this, he brings it has to be a Zokar, it has to be from a male animal, and it has to be brought to the Pesach, to the opening of the Ohel Moed, of the tabernacle that was to be found in the wilderness. Says the Pasuk, El Pesach Ohel Moed Yakru Oso, he or it shall be brought to the opening of the Ohel Moed, L'Irtzonu L'fnei Adonai, in accordance with His will before Hashem Yisparach. And the Gemara Rosh Hashanah understands this additional phraseology of L'Irtzonu L'fnei Hashem, in accordance with His free will, positioned before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to instruct us that each and every time a person brings a korban, even if he doesn't really want to bring the korban, but he understands that he has already obligated himself in doing so, that it is the duty of the basin to see to it that kofen oso ad sheyoma rotzani, that he takes his thoughts, as explains the Rambam, of his unwillingness, his undesire to follow through on what he has pledged, and by the agency of the basin, and indeed by basin effectively convincing him that he need bring it on his own volition, he will bring it and present it before Hashem Yisparach, and kofanoso ad sheyoma rotzani, that it will be sufficiently inspired by their words, by their actions, to do what is his to do, that he understands is the correct thing to do, even though he simply has, until this point in time, not been able to bring himself to do so. And I don't know why, but of late I have read, and I'm certain that all of you have read, of the various scenarios of agunos, of women who have been indeed shackled to their husbands for 2 years, for 15 years, for so many years of sleepless nights and days in which they found themselves tethered to their husbands, unable to break forth through the gates of freedom to begin their lives anew, unable to move on by themselves or with their children because of the incalcitrance of their husbands. And Baruch Hashem, there are wonderful Rabbanim and Rashi Kollel and communal leaders, whether it be in Flatbush, in the Syrian community, whether it's in Lakewood, whether it's in Boca Raton, wherever such women are to be found, or the husbands who have refused to issue gittin to their respective wives, effectively rendering their wives agunos, shackled to them. For whatever reason, Baruch Hashem, due to the efforts of these heroic and wonderful individuals, leaders of Klal Yisrael, due to the efforts of wonderful organizations such as URA, that is pledged and promised to see to it that, unfortunately, when divorce does occur, when it is needed, and thus sanctioned and configured by the Torah HaKadosha, that indeed that it be permitted to play itself out, and that a wife, as a husband no less, in rare circumstances, be provided with the opportunity to either issue the get on the part of the husband and receive the get on the part of the wife, in order to move on, unshackled from the shackles of anything that is liberating and foreign. And how wonderful Why is it occurring now? I'm not sure. Maybe because people suffering for so long in the pandemic realized exactly what it means to be shackled and quarantined inside one's home, unable to move forward, unable to mix freely with others, unable to live one's life with a feeling of liberation, a feeling of bechira chavshis, a freedom of choice. Maybe it's because we're approaching the wonderful Yom Tov of Pesach. I don't know. But what I do know is how fortunate, Ashreinu ma tov chalkeinu ma noam goraleinu, how fortunate we are that we have such leaders, that we have such people, that the husbands are granting the gittin, and that these wives, these nashim sikanius b'Yisrael, who no matter what occurred to precipitate the divorce, are nonetheless at the end of the day do the basic, undeniable freedom, being able to live their lives, that they can approach this Yom Tov of Pesach with a feeling of Zman Cheirutenu, thanking Hashem Yisparach with every shira and every form of shevach for what they have been granted. Adam ki yakriv mikem korban l'Hashem, when a person indeed has to sacrifice, and there are sacrifices in life that need to be made before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have to do the right thing. And if we don't feel like doing the right thing, then indeed, l'rtzono lifnei Hashem, kol fenoso ad sheyomer rotza ani, until we can reach the point that we are ready on our own volition, indeed to carry forth and carry out what we know is ours to perform. Have a wonderful Shabbos.